Hello, dear friends. I'm not futurologist, but there are positive signs, although everything takes time. Opinion piece. Key year 2023. Year of Rabbit. This is the end. The collapse of 3D. Part of the divine plan. The fog begins to clear. Let's start. The fog has begun to clear after a season of challenging eclipses in November, and incredible opportunities for personal and collective growth and expansion now present themselves. Benjamin Fulford believes that a global revolution is unfolding, promised by the Gnostic Illuminati, who would be the positive faction. He said he received a mysterious tip about the contact of his with the Secret Spain program. He called to say that he had just spoken to President Putin, who told him that he was going to resign soon, but that this would only be so that he could move on to a much more important position, in quotes. He concluded with a cryptic message saying, "Watch the water." Perhaps 2023 would be the key year according to numerology. Biblical chronology reveals an important sign in Abraham's life that indicates that our end-time journey would be about to begin. When we add up the years in Genesis 5 and 11 from creation to Abraham's birth, we see that he was born 1948 years after the biblical creation. In Genesis 12:4, we read that Abraham was 75 years old when he left Haran for the land of Canaan. The number 1948 plus 75 adds up to 2023. Gematria is a method of interpreting names, words, and phrases based on the assignment of a numerical value. 2023 is the coming year. It will be a common year starting on Sunday in the Gregorian calendar. It will also be the number 2023 Anno Domini, or Year of the Lord, as well as the 23rd year of the 21st century and the third millennium. It will be the third year of the third decade of the 21st century and the fourth year of the decade of the 2020s. Year of the Rabbit. It will be the year of Water Rabbit, according to the Chinese horoscope. The sign of the rabbit, or hare, is an emblem of longevity. In this case, the rabbit symbolizes grace, good manners, sound advice, kindness, and sensitivity. It is similar to the cat in ancient Egypt. The Chinese New Year 2023 will begin on Sunday, 22nd January 2023 and end on 9th February 2024. The Year of the Water Rabbit 2023 follows the Year of the Water Tiger 2022. After a busy and energetic year, we can take advantage of a quieter year to take stock of our goals. This 2023 will be the perfect year for wisdom and order in our lives, to be attentive and prepared for the changes that 2024 may bring. Rabbits are sincere in everything they do, and only ask that others treat them in the same way. To strangers, the rabbit's gentleness can make them appear soft and weak. In reality, the rabbit's calm personality hides their confidence and strength. They are constantly moving towards their goal, regardless of the negativity given to them by others. They are excellent scholars with their good reasoning skills and attention to detail. Unfold. The end, or acabose in Spanish, denotes that this is the last straw because it has reached its ultimate extreme. It is used in the phrase, "this is the end," to express astonishment and dissatisfaction with the negative situation or behavior to an extreme degree when one says, "I can't take it anymore. This is the last straw." To collapse means sink, crumble, demolish. To collapse comes from desplomar is the word in Spanish. Comes from des and plomo, and as it occurs when a wall loses its vertical, which indicates the plumb line of the plumb line. Hence, the general sense to make loose the vertical position. As the frequency increases, more and more of the old paradigm crumbles, and therefore you are now finding the chaos of the third-dimensional crumbling, and that is purposeful, as it is all part of the divine plan. Cryon through Susan. We said there would be an increase in light when the shift came. That is a metaphor for enlightenment and new thinking. Old souls begin to sense it and become frustrated because things are not the same. Change often leads to fear and misunderstanding. We said that the darkness of old thought and the old ways would take advantage of this and unite as much as possible to stop the change of light. The light will win, and the new humankind will have greater wisdom. The ending. El Acabose was a comedy television program presented and starring José Mota that premiered on the first channel of Televisión Española, Spanish television, on 15th March 2017. According to its plot, in the summer of 2017, a technological accident brought about the end of civilization as we know it. The end of all reports, conversations, photos, plans, writing, studies, videos, etc. that had been stored in what everyone called the cloud. Such a collapse of information caused a storm in the cloud that caused all that material to physically fall to earth, spreading chaos among society, which began to discover each other's secret. Everyone fought everyone else in the greatest conflict ever known, leading to an unavoidable tragedy called the Endgame. 10 years later, the earth was almost depopulated and the humankind lost their fate. A group of Spanish survivors set out on the adventure of broadcasting a television program in the hope that if anyone would receive it, they could find out what our civilization was like. All this based on humor, parody, imitation, musicals, and sketches, always referring to that wealth that has slipped through our fingers, and with the help of a weekly guest. Message. The third-dimensional paradigm continues to crumble according to Sananda via James McConnell. Many look back on this year and think that nothing is happening, that nothing is changing, that it's business as usual. But nothing could be farther from the truth, for as we have heard many times from many different sources, there is much going on in the background, beyond the eyes and ears to hear. But even if you can't see it or hear it, it doesn't mean it's not happening. For what is happening now is an enterprise that has been thousands of years in the planning. Look at this period of time and think it's taken a long time. But for thousands of years, this process of restoring freedom to the people has been going on. The old experiments in third-dimensional illusion are over. It doesn't seem to be over. It looks like the same old thing. But trust the divine plan, as you hear from many different sources. There are many different things that are happening and will continue to happen. Many changes are yet to come, because the old three-dimensional paradigm is fading away. Not as fast as we would like, but you have to understand that thousands of years of planning are not going to suddenly disappear. It's going to take time, but more importantly, it's going to take a high frequency. Reset news. Starlink unveils military-grade satellite network. Starshield, SpaceX's new technology, is highlighted by additional cryptography and laser communications capabilities between satellites. FTX founder charged with defrauding investors of $1.8 billion. Samuel Bankman-Fried was arrested on Monday night in the Bahamas. The share price of major cryptocurrencies Bitcoin and Ethereum fell 50 to 65% along with the Terra Luna fiasco and the collapse of crypto asset booking and exchange platform FTX, according to economist Alfredo Zayat. William Engdahl writes that BlackRock created the global energy crisis by pushing fake green. In reality, there would be nothing green about it, as it aims for the greatest consolidation of wealth, assets and power in history. BlackRock wants that central banks cannot stop the coming market implosion. Globalists would call us fiat currency and food supply them pose as savers. Europe. The suicidal strategy of Western powers parting with cheap Russian energy, which the rest of the world is buying in record quantities, has prompted the International Energy Agency to issue a warning. An analyst points out that the European Parliament is the European institution most exposed to the corruption. The British government calls on the army to help in hospitals during the doctors' strike. The British are bracing themselves for another drastic increase in energy prices. Former Austrian Vice-Chancellor Heinz Christian Strache writes that, in quotes, Austria has shown Europe how it is damaging itself through sanctions. If it continues like this, in March and April next year, we will be faced with massive insolvencies and bankruptcies. If the crisis deepens and more people become desperate, this could bring about a dangerous development in the form of social tension that we don't want. At the same time, the restrictions have failed to undermine the Russian economy. This year, Russians have doubled their business, collecting $220 billion in revenue. Close quotes. Spain is fighting at the United Nations to annex 500,000 kilometers of square kilometers of submerged area. USA. The US prepares to announce suppressed nuclear fusion power technology. Crews race to contain the largest oil spill in the history of the Keystone Pipeline. A mysterious breach sends 14,000 barrels of crude gushing over the Kansas field, according to the Daily Mail. The line has been closed since Wednesday night. Keystone was carrying 622,000 barrels of oil per day from Canada to U.S. storage and refining centers. The Johns Hopkins Center, in partnership with the Gates Foundation, conducted a so-called catastrophic contagion simulation exercise at the annual Grand Challenges meeting in Brussels, Belgium, on 23 November 2022. The extraordinary group of participants consisted of 10 current and former health ministers and senior public health officials from Senegal, Rwanda, Nigeria, Angola, Liberia, Singapore, India, and Germany. Gold-backed, an alternative currency that combines sound money with modern technology. It aims to promote the use of currency inflation-proof currency to protect the purchasing power of families and individuals at all income levels. Goldback is a family of local currencies operating in 4 US states and launched in Utah in 2019. Goldbacks contain a thin layer of gold within a polymer coating. They are shaped like regular currency notes but contain pure 24-karat gold. The gold is securely contained between the 2 layers of transparent polyester, which add artistic elements to the fractional gold bullion they contain. Americas. Millions of pilgrims celebrated the Virgin of Guadalupe in Mexico. Chile maintains red alert in 9 municipalities due to forest fires. Several regions of Peru suspend classes due to strike. Fertilizer shortages an urgent problem for Peru's new government. Reflections. The brain overcomes its limitations by using biases and prior beliefs, reports a study published in the journal Nature Communications. Why they want to destroy free speech according to Hayek? In totalitarian societies, truth is not something that is discovered through learning, education, study, research, debate, and discussion. Instead, it is something that has to be established by authority. If all sources of information are under control, they no longer need to persuade people. Did you know that it is against Christian doctrine to lend money at interest? Similarly, Jews living under the provisions of Old Testament are not supposed to charge usury to other Jews, but they may charge usury when lending to non-Jews. This small religious difference has led Jews to be a predominant force in the banking business. 7 things we must deal with according to Mary Maxwell. Bigness and its temptations, the supposed bona fides of authority figures, the secrecy and inaccessibility of government, the sacredness of justice, the flexibility of language, and the importance of lying, mind control and division. Our ability to solve our enormous problems today depends on at least becoming aware of the 7 block gauges. If we pay attention to their tricks, each of these blocks can be made less damaging. The gift of shamanism. Being in touch with our vision can help us chart new paths not only for our own lives, but for society as a whole, hopefully enabling us to create a sustainable world that honors each individual person as magnificent, promotes equality among people, and fosters respect for all animals, plants, and the natural elements. That is why shamans believe that each of us has the potential to change ourselves and the world around us. That is what makes shamanic practice so important for our modern digital age. After all, the premise of shamanism is to foster real, tangible, physical, emotional, and mental change. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.